Still waiting for autopsy results before moving forward in this case. As far as the assault charges, bail denied today for city officer Eric Banks. Court papers reveal a mother's intuition led to the discovery of her 15-year-old unresponsive son inside the home of his stepfather, Baltimore officer Eric Banks. The mother told Anne Arundel County Police when she couldn't reach Deshaun Jones by phone, she believed he was being held against his will. Banks initially told police his stepson wasn't there and had left his packed bags at a back door. Police charging documents indicate Banks gave police permission to search his home. In a loft on the top floor, officers saw a hole in the wall with a white cover. Banks advised it was his gun safe. Officers looked inside and saw a body, later identified as Jones. An autopsy is underway. Jones' friend, Kayla Wright, tells us she's heartbroken. She recalls Deshaun as bright, funny, and full of energy.
I know that he wanted to be a doctor and he played violin. And so I was really sad that I had lost someone that I was close with.
According to police charging documents, after police placed Banks in handcuffs, Banks attempted to flee. First, he asked if he could kiss his kids. Court papers indicate there were 2 other children in the house. Then, according to police, he grabbed my departmentally issued Glock by the handle and flipped the hood down to my holster, in a clear attempt to disarm me. Banks stated multiple times, "You're gonna have to end this." Back on June 25th, Banks' wife sought a protective order complaining she suffered from emotional and mental abuse, and that he was stalking her. The wife told police Banks had 2 weapons, one for work and one for leisure.
I hope his family finally finds peace for this because I know how hard it is for them right now. And I know that his mom has 2 little boys. And so I know that it's really, really, really difficult to try to process.
Banks is seeking a preliminary hearing on the assault charges. No trial date has been set. The Baltimore City Police Commissioner says Banks is already on suspension for another undisclosed matter. Reporting live from Curtis Bay, David Collins, WBAL TV 11 News.
Okay, so y'all just heard that audio right there, and this is one of those stories where I really almost have no words for what I just listened to. Like, this is extremely messed up. And by the way, I think you can look at this picture and tell who was the perp and who was the victim. Like, this boy was only 15 years old, and this guy killed him. And based on what I've read, they say he died of asphyxiation, which means this guy strangled this boy to death. So he had a very slow, like a slow, gradual death. It wasn't quick at all. And then put his body in a wall, like literally like cut a hole into the wall and just place his body there in the attic of the of the house. And who knows how long he was actually there for. Probably not that long, but long enough for the mother to be worried. And then added on, they said that the mother says that this guy was like, she was suffering from mental abuse and depression due to this guy's antics, and he was stalking her and all types of stuff like that. And I also was reading in the comments, because they didn't say it in the audio, or maybe they did and I probably missed it. The mother took out a protective order against her, against this guy, or tried to, but the judge apparently did not go and follow up or follow through with the protective order. So now I'm looking at that judge with the side eye. Like, this woman said that she was being stalked by him. And there right now we don't know what the motive is as to why this guy did it. My guess is he probably did it to get back at her. Now, they said there were also 2 little boys. Now, I don't know if those 2 boys are her kids with this man or whatever the case may be. But let's hypothetically say that they are, which would mean that this boy was the only one who was not biologically linked to him, because they said he was a stepson, so they're not blood related at all, just through the relationship with his mom. Either way, it's a very devastating situation either way. And I think I read that this guy is 34, so he's 2 years older than me. Yeah, his name is Eric Banks Jr., and he's 34. They say he was charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and child abuse. And I have a feeling he's going to get hit with every last charge. And when he does, because I'm very confident that he will, life imprisonment with no possibility of parole is the only thing I will accept, because I don't think Maryland has the death penalty intact. But I do offer my condolences to this boy's family, to his mother, and to his siblings. Like, that's crazy. This guy strangled this boy to death and took his body into the attic and put him in a wall and then covered it up and then tried to lie and say that's where he keeps his gun at. And my thing is this: what would make you, well, first off, what would make you kill this boy? And number two, what would make you stash his body in your home in the attic as if no one was going to go and look? Because eventually that odor of a decaying body would eventually get out, even if you do cover it up, because that smell, that it gives a bad odor. People are sick out here. And let's keep in mind, this guy was a cop in Baltimore. And we know that Baltimore has some very corrupt cops. And this guy was stalking his, as far as I know, his ex. He killed his stepson. It makes you wonder what he was like while working on the force. He was probably one of them corrupt cops for all we know.